Good morning, traders. Today's video we will be covering GBP CHF, odd CHF, on what happened and two trades that were executed the other day, and we will then cover two other trades: EURCAD, one that I just got in, and Euro CHF, another that I am potentially looking for a short. So, first things first, we have GBP CHF. We were actually in this trade yesterday. We were looking to get out sometime of the brink of the New York session before the Aussie session. We were willing to hold potentially to the London New York overlap, which is now today. We actually were looking to mitigate any type of risk, moving our stop loss to break even roughly around the was it around 11 o'clock or so, and we actually ended up doing so. So we actually were in profit significantly. We were about more than halfway there. We just barely missed the minus 27. Take profit one. We were going to take a 50% partial there and move stops to break even, which would have been roughly about a 1 to 3.88, almost a 1 to 4, targeting a full 1 to 5.5. Unfortunately, that did not happen. We ended up moving our stop to break even at this previous high, at this highlighted yellow point here, and we ended up cutting our losses. So not losing any money is better than losing money. So for this trade, not a win, not a loss. Just wash your hands, move on, eliminate the emotion, and move on to the next trade. So odd CHF, kind of a little bit of a deja vu. We were in this trade yesterday as well. Entry was about right before the New York session open, about 15 minutes beforehand, and we were almost to take profit one, just maybe a couple of pips shy of that. This was a 1 to 7 risk to reward ratio. We were looking to take a partial here of a 1 to 5. I was aiming to do a 50% partial and letting the rest run. Unfortunately, that event did not happen, and we actually ended up moving our stops to break even somewhere around, I would say maybe a little bit later in the day. Maybe it was about 1 o'clock Central Time. And unfortunately, as the day went on, coming back to our trading office, price then collapsed and took us out of the trade. So for this week, two trades, two break-even trades. So we are completely, we're not up, we're not down this week. So now moving on to some more exciting news, we have EURCAD. We just entered this trade not too long ago. The trade was executed somewhere about 9 a.m., maybe 8:55. I have to look once I jump down to the lower time frame. We're currently in profit. We're looking for a long position, taking it up to the minus 61.8, targeting that 1.63201 level roughly. And let me do a thorough top-down analysis of what I saw, what prompted me to get into this trade. So let me jump up to the hour chart. So I started on the hour chart, and I saw market trending upward. I see price respecting this trend line once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then later on 5 times post entering the trade. We also did see a market structure shift here. As you can tell, if we zoom out, market was trending downward on the hour time frame. As far as market structure, we have price in the upward uptrend, a higher high, higher low, higher high. Price stalls out. Price then begins to make a low, fails to make a higher high, but just a high. It then begins to make a head and shoulders. Price collapse, and this is where we then start to see a market structure shift in the market, and this is where we see this. Let me highlight this for you. This is a very clear indication that the market is shifting from an uptrend to a downtrend here, and then price then continued to make lower lows and lower highs from this swing low to this swing high, and continued to make those lower highs, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, an equal high, I would say, a lower low. But then eventually we have this market structure shift where price then barely peaks out and makes a higher high. So we then also have some form of a fake out. We have some sell stops. I'm sorry, sell stops. We have some stop hunts, and then price dramatically increases to the upside. And as you can tell, there might be a form of inducement here. We have price inducing buyers to buy here, and then shortly after manipulating the market and shorting them out before they can capitalize on this long position here. So once we had that, we have a confirmed market structure shift, and we have market structure shifting to the upside. We have this new higher high, doing it from this swing here. We have the new higher low, and then we have price then printing and making lower highs, not necessarily higher highs quite yet. And then we have this equal high here. For me, it gave me a bias. I'm looking for longs. So that's what I saw pretty much on the hour chart. And then I did look up to the 4-hour chart. Pretty much same thing. Nothing too much. Pretty much was more clear on the hour chart for me. But on the daily chart, I did notice that we are trending above the 50 EMA. And we did have price generating 2 points, equaling a trend line of support as well. So jumping down to the hour time frame, I pulled out my fibs. So I'll delete the fibs and show you from this swing low to this swing high, putting us roughly around that 61.8 entry, which is an optimal Fibonacci rejection zone, one of the strongest rejection zones on the Fibonacci, which is, we call it that golden zone or the golden ratio. And then I actually jumped down to the 15-minute to identify my fib trick for my fib confirmation of identifying the move within the move. And we can see here from this swing high to this swing low, highlighted by the 2 yellow eclipses, pricing comes down and creates this fib trick completed zone highlighted in blue. So let me delete that fib for clarity. And that was essentially more of a optimal entry point. We actually didn't see this trade until, like I said, this morning around 9 o'clock ish, and we saw that price had left this zone, came back, giving us another opportunity to re-enter based off the missed opportunity at, looks like, the London session around 2:30 a.m. So that's how we were able to capitalize there. Actually then jumped down to the 5-minute chart, and I actually saw price come down time and time again. Like I said, this could have been our original entry point here, but we're late to the party, but we're still trying to capitalize on that. So we saw price come down. We were waiting for a rejection candle. Price came up, and then by the time we entered this candle, we entered somewhere along here. It might have been actually in this candle when price was retracing, and that's what entered. That was what triggered us on the entry of this trade. And as far as stop loss, what am I going to say? Just outside the fib trick and just outside of the most recent Fibonacci rejected zone, which here on the 15-minute, it looks more tailored to that 78.6. So we actually end up pulling a little bit further out, but on the higher time frame, it looks like more closer to the 61.8. It looked like price was wicking out there. So it was about 17 pips. I know that for a fact. That's what it's in the trade right now. And when we jump up to the hour chart, we're targeting that overall that minus 61.8 and take profit 1, looking for our partial here at the minus 27. We just hit our previous high. I will assess this trade for the next couple hours, and depending on the market, I'm looking to hit take profit 1 here shortly. And if we cannot make it to this take profit 1, I will just move myself to break even to mitigate my risk. I'd rather, like I said, making no money is better than losing money. And if we can come up here, I'll take my partials, cash out there, and let the rest of the trade run risk-free. And they may ask, like, why? Is there any other confluence of targeting this area? As far as on the hour chart, there is this previous swing high here. I can see price struggling around this area, but beyond that, this is a pretty safe conservative target. We do have another pair, EURCHF now, that I will discuss. So before I jump into that, we're about, like I said, halfway to about almost a 5% gain. So about 2.5% up on this trade currently. So let's jump down to Euro CHF. Currently, I'm looking to enter this trade. This might actually be a video where I might see me actually enter live. So basically, I was looking in the hour chart. I see market is trending in this downward market. We had price kind of consolidating and ranging in this area here. Price started to then kind of break out a little bit choppy, and then later on started to create some lower lows and lower highs, giving me a bias of looking for some type of potential short entries. So that's my reason there. And like I said as well, we also have a 50 EMA that we're below, showing a signal for looking for shorts as well. I did jump up to the 4-hour time frame. The trend was trending downward. As you can see, we kind of were ranging again on the higher time frame within this rectangle box here, a little bit choppy, but you can see price then clearly breaks out of this box and then continues to the downside. And then again, we are below the 50 EMA, and on the daily, it was just pretty much another confirmation. Pretty much just looked at the 50 EMA, looked at the higher time frame, and saw that we were trending downward, even touching as many wicks as possible. So that was also another strong confirmation. I did see this very strong engulfing candle on the daily chart. Price came down and rejected aggressively. So for me, this is a region where I feel that price could potentially stall out, and you can see it. Price then struggled time and time again, never really made it to that area, but it did do a stop hunt around this area and came sharply back up. So let me jump back down to the hour time frame. From this time frame, I took my fibs from this swing high. Let me get my other tool here, and from that high to this swing low, putting us around that 61.8. And again, what am I going to say? 61.8 is one of the strongest Fibonacci rejection zones, which is that golden ratio. So that's trend line. We have the trend line respected multiple times. We have the 50 EMA being respected, showing as a short bias. We have the Fibonacci 61.8, and we also have our fib trick. So let me show you how I drew my fib trick as well. Let me delete this first, and I can bring that back up for you. So basically, from the fibs, I grabbed it from this swing low to this swing high, which then falls right into that fib trick, the move within the move of the retracement. So for me, this is completing the move, signs of rejection here. I do see some indecision candles. We do see a doji that's being printed as we speak, but we do not execute off this candle until we see a closed candle. We do not execute off an open candle. So moving down to the 15-minute, actually I needed to put my fibs back on for you so you can see. I'm looking for some type of price action, some type of candlestick analysis to highlight and indicate a form of a potential short. So until I see that, I will probably sit on my hands, and I will either execute the trade, or I will do nothing and let the trade run and just watch it do what it does and move on to another opportunity. So until then, I could show you potentially what I might be looking for. We could see this trend line here. Potentially price could potentially break out of this trend line, basically making a counter trend line, and then maybe come back, retest. Maybe I see I did a doji or an engulfing candle, and maybe there's a signal here, and then I would potentially short, and I'd put my stops just outside of this fib trick zone, or outside of that next Fibonacci rejection zone. Looks like it did wick up here, so if you want to be safe, you could put up here, maybe as high as 9 pips, depending on the scenario and how it actually plays out. And I would then target all the way down to our take profit, which would be that 61.8. But looking at this area of struggle, this would be to the -27 for more conservative approach. It's looking like maybe potential 2.5. This is probably a lower risk reward ratio that we would probably take. The lowest I would ever take is probably a 1 to 2. But that's today's video. If you are liking these videos, please press the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye.